Hello and a very good afternoon to you, and thank you so much for joining me, Influences of the Times, in this very next edition of Influences of the Times. So a very warm welcome to you, and for those of you who are watching for the first time, a very special warm welcome to you, and thank you for joining me, Influences of the Times, as we continue to go in search of Britain's most abandoned and derelict places. So a very warm welcome to you, and for those of you who are joining me back, for those of you who are watching, welcome back. And thank you for joining me. So we're now on episode 15 in the Influences of Time series. And if you've been watching, you'll know that in the last couple of days we went to some fascinating locations. The first one we went to was last Wednesday, when we went to one of Hertfordshire's most notorious and well-known abandoned and derelict and very ruined chapels, Minston Chapel. And on the Thursday we went across to Bedfordshire, and we went to one of Bedfordshire's most notorious and well-known derelict and abandoned and slightly ruined churches, St Mary's, or better known as Clophill Church. And then we went over to Cambridgeshire and visited one of the most fascinating 19th century mansions, one of its last remaining mansions. And for those of you who watched, you'll know that it was an extraordinary place. It was a huge mansion, and in the back garden area was some fascinating artifacts left behind, in particular some cars, in particular one car that was just, obviously it was ruined and abandoned and overgrown and stuff, but it was absolutely fascinating, and there was lots of interesting things in the back garden. There was old fridges and all sorts. Well, today we've come back to our base, so we're now back in the West Midlands, and so I welcome you to this place. Now you can probably see just by looking behind me, and if I step to one side you can just see just behind me. Now, as I mentioned before, and I didn't quite get a chance to do it in the last broadcast that we did from the mansion, but I'm not actually going to actually give the name of this location until the very end of this broadcast. However, I welcome you to a 1920s cinema just outside Birmingham. So we're just a couple of miles, probably about 3 or 4 miles just outside of Birmingham. So this is where we are. So just to give you a bit of history, this cinema was built in 1925, roughly about 1925, so we're talking about Victorian times, and it was very typical of Victorian times in the sense of the way that it was built. It was built and designed by a man called Horace G. Bruce back in 1925, and it was used as a cinema right up until the 1980s. In 1980 ceased to become a cinema, and in 2007 is when it was used. So from the 1980s right up until till 2007 it was used as a Gala Bingo Hall. So this was a cinema at first, and then it became a Gala Bingo Hall, and it closed in 2007, and shortly after that it became, as many other locations that I've been to, and I'm sure plenty of others that I'm going to go to, this cinema became the scene of a very big fire that was deliberately set. So we're talking about arson, and it caused substantial damage. And you could probably just see just by looking behind me now, the main roof of the cinema has completely collapsed, and I'll have a good look around in a minute, so don't worry. I'm as always, I've taken plenty of photographs inside this cinema. Not so much outside, but inside. So I've taken lots of photographs. There's lots of interesting things, so we're going to have a good look around. Hopefully the signal is going to stay good. And I'm conscious of the fact that it's a good signal at the moment, so hopefully it will stay that way. So let's hope we don't have any more technical glitches. However, this suffered substantial fire. It was a massive fire on a huge scale. It ruined the majority of the front of the cinema, worked its way towards the back, and caused damage at the back. It was so large that loads, I don't know how many, but lots of fire engines had to attend, and it was done at night time. It was a huge blaze, and it's literally just ruined the whole place. However, it's kind of demolished in itself anyway. But the main cause of damage to this beautiful cinema, or what would have been a beautiful cinema, now I've had a look at some original photos of the outside of this cinema back in the 1920s, maybe 1930s, and it's beautiful. It's really nice, and I've also managed to find some original photographs of inside here when it was used as a Gala Bingo Hall, and I will include those along with all the photographs and the information that I've given you on Facebook, and as always on my website www.camdraphotography.co.uk, click on portfolio and then go to Influences Times. So all the photographs and the information that I've given you will be on there for you to have a look at. You wouldn't believe the difference. Now, take a look at the Gala Bingo Hall photographs first, then have a look at these after, and you will see the difference. It is absolutely unbelievable. And when we have a look around, you'll see anyway. There's remnants of what you can tell would have been a Gala Bingo Hall. But when you look at the original photographs and now, it's just, you wouldn't think it's the same place. So that's all the information I give you. There is no more information about this cinema that I've managed to, so that's all the research that I can give you, is that it was built around 1920, 1925 by Horace J. Bruce, typical Victorian style, pigeon flying about, typical Victorian times, was used as a cinema up until 1980, and then was turned into a Gala Bingo Hall, closed in 2007, and then became the scene of a substantial fire that's caused absolute, complete. Okay, so I got a text message then, by the way, so don't worry, we're back. So and then it caused substantial damage. Now the reason why I'm talking so quietly is because this is a cinema. Naturally, sound echoes, so I'm talking fairly quietly. So that's probably why I'm talking quieter than I normally would, because it's just so, you wouldn't believe it, but it's actually quite echoey in here. Now I've attached to the bottom of my camera, my mobile phone, a small flashlight with a built-in lamp, so we'll be able to see what we're doing. So when we go upstairs and it gets quite dark, you'll still be able to see. And there's, like I said, there's some quite interesting parts. Now we're actually towards the front of the cinema, and that is behind me, and you can see how overgrown it is. What we'll do, we'll try and go up onto the upper balcony so that you can look down onto the cinema, okay? But that is how overgrown it is. Now believe it or not, under that mass of Mother Nature, of overgrowth, is what's left of the roof. Massive chunks and pieces of beautiful architecture and plasterwork. There's also what's left of the seating. I mean, it's just been absolutely crushed underneath the demolition of this place, but also the substantial damage caused by the fire, and it is such a shame. It really is a shame. So that's all the information I can give you. That's all the information there is on this particular 1920s cinema. This will be the first cinema that Influences of the Times has broadcast from. You know, we've covered everything from a college to some churches, some chapels. We've also covered the last remaining Benedictine monk priory in Samwell. We've also captured some other fascinating places. Dudley Tunnel was an old 170-something-year-old railway tunnel that that saw the First and the Second World War. Is now abandoned and derelict. The most absolutely fascinating place I've ever been, and as I've said so many times, that is without question the most fascinating of every location. There is just something about that place that is just fascinating. We've covered some of Dudley's non-abandoned places. For instance, we've covered Netherton Tunnel, Coseley Tunnel, which are neither abandoned or derelict. They're used every day, but they're fascinating locations. So we've covered a wide spectrum. So this is the first cinema that Influences of the Times has managed to broadcast from, and I'm very pleased to welcome you to this fascinating 15th episode of Influences of the Times. So for the next half an hour, sit back, relax, and enjoy this fascinating journey as we step back into the 1920s. There's not an awful lot to see, but there is a couple of things that you might find interesting, and I've had a good walkabout, and I think I can kind of get my bearing, so I can give you some information. So at the front of the cinema and behind us is the back. Now we'll do the back last, simply because we're going to have to climb over what's left of the back of some of the bingo chairs to get to the back. Now there's not a lot back there, but if I go back there, you'll be able to see the front of the cinema. So we'll do the most interesting bit first, and then we'll go to the back. So, how's about I pick you up? Let's have a good look around. So sit back and relax. Sit back. Those pigeons. Sit back, relax, and enjoy this fascinating 15th episode. So I'm going to pick you up, and let's just have a look about. Okay? So like I said, when we go into dark places, I'll switch the little lamp on, and hopefully you'll be able to see. So what I'm going to do is tip the camera up a bit, so you can see a bit more. Okay, so we're now standing with the bingo area would have been. So some of the, not so much the cinema things are left behind, it's more the Gala Bingo things. It's very typical, I suppose, of Gala Bingos, but you can see, if I tilt the camera up, can you see? Can you see the chairs? There's the tables, and what's left of the chairs. And if you look very carefully, you can see at the back there, that's where you would have put the money in, and that's where you would have pressed those buttons either side. Them, that's where you would have pressed the buttons when you played bingo. So you can see there's quite a bit of debris, so we're just going to have to be, if I come this way you can get a better idea. So if I just pan the camera up, can you now see? So that's what's left. This is the most intact part of the bingo, Gala Bingo part of this cinema. That's what's left. Now if I pan the camera around, you can see. Okay, so if I look up, you can see all the debris, all the bits of metal and roofing has collapsed and fallen down. Now believe it or not, up there, hopefully we'll try and get up there afterwards, that's the upper balcony where you can overlook the cinema and what would have been the Gala Bingo Hall. Now it's a bit dark, but can you see how overgrown it is? So that's now looking towards the rear, and that's what's left of the roof. It's completely fallen in and collapsed, and it's literally all under there. Okay, so that will give you an idea. So let's now go towards the front of the cinema. Okay, so let's go through this door here. Right, so we're now in the area which would have been where you would have come in. So you will go to the very front, the reception area of this cinema. But this is where you would have filtered in, so you would have come down these flights of steps. Now I don't know what would have been here. It looks to me like there would have been lots of shelves here. This may have been where you could have, there may have been slot machines here, there could have been, I don't know, there could have been anything here really. But this would have been kind of like where you perhaps would have maybe had soft drinks, that kind of thing, before you went into the Gala Bingo area. Okay, so that's, if I just give you a look about so you can see, because I just want you to see as much as you can. So we've got lots of stuff hanging down, you can see this, look. But just give you an idea of what's looking about. Lots of debris. You can see the door, and that's looking back out. So this would have been where you would have come down a flight of steps. Okay, now, as always, you're going to have to look at me quite a bit, I'm afraid. Sorry about that. But that's only because there is so much. The floor, can't really show you here. Maybe another bit I'll show you. On the floor is strewn with debris and roofing and parts of the ceiling that's fallen down. There's lots of metal structure hanging down and stuff, so you're going to have to be really careful. And believe it or not, the cinema, not so much this bit, but as you go out that way, it is covered in pigeon, you know what I mean, on the floor. There's loads and loads of it, because obviously loads of pigeons are in here. There's nests everywhere. But anyway, so let's do a bit more. So we're now going up the flight of steps, so you can see, if I turn around, you can see the carpet. See the carpet still here? You've got the carpet, Gala Bingo carpet, just there. So let's go up the stairs. Let's have a look about. I'll just get my bearings. Okay, so you would have come from reception, you would have come to this bit. Okay, this bit here, and there's two flights of steps. So you've got one, just there, and the flight that we've just come up, there. And it would have overlooked, so you would have come into this like area at the front here. Like I said, you could have had soft drinks or just chilled out and stuff here. And then you would have gone through the double doors on both sides. So you've got the double doors there, and the double doors there, and you would have gone into the Gala Bingo Hall and the cinema. Okay, so that's where we are at the moment, so we're making our way towards the front. Now, I want to try and show you every single room. Okay, literally every room. Some rooms I don't know what they would have been used for. I don't know. But if I just pan the camera down now, can you see what I mean about debris? And the stuff hanging from the ceiling. Look at it. Loads and loads of stuff. Okay, so what I'm going to do is put this little flashlight on so you can see. There we go. So that's what's in that room there, look. So there's not much in there. It's literally just a room. Just a little room with a glass window. So I don't know what that would have been used for. It doesn't say, but it's just a very, you can see the debris on the floor. So that would have been in there. So that's that room. So let's go through this way. Let's go through the doorway. Let's come through here. Right. So we're now, we've just walked, so it's actually better with the light on, so I'll keep it on. So it's a nifty little thing. It's literally just a little LED thing that fits into oh, there you are. That fits into the bottom of my mobile phone. So you can just get an idea. So it's just like a little corridor. Now if you come in here, it's just a toilet. That's all that's in here. So that's all you've got. It's a little kind of little washroom. And then you've got a little toilet in here. So we're now going to come this way. Oops, sorry. Just trying to, what's it? Let's keep it that way. I can see lots of people watching. Thank you for joining me. Well, thank you. Welcome to episode 15. Thank you. Okay, so we're now going to go up the stairway. So you can see the stairs there going up. So let's go upstairs. So I'm just going to spin the camera around so you can see me a bit better. To give you an idea. Okay, so we've just come up the staircase and we're now going up to the next floor. Just give you an idea. Okay, so let's go up. Okay, so we'll go up there in a minute, we'll have a look. So we've now come up 2 flights of steps, so we're now on kind of like the first floor. So you would come in from reception, we'll go back down to reception in a minute, so don't worry. You'll come up a little flight of steps, through the double doors where all that, where the 2 little flights of steps are. Then you would have gone down them flight of steps, and then you would have gone through into the main part of the cinema, so you can kind of get an idea. Now if we walk through here, there's not really, if I just show you, there's not a lot. There's not actually a lot in here. It's just an upstairs room. But you can see, just there, an old tape. The old plastic wheel. There, look. So it's just a room. And then you've got what's left of a little cupboard there. That's all that's there. So there's not really a lot to see. If we come through into this room, I'll just come in. In here is just lots of paper and folders and stuff. Can you see? It's just like a little box room. There's loads and loads of stuff on the floor. Lots of folders and bits and pieces. Like I said, there's lots of paperwork and not so much documents, but just lots of binders about food poisoning, fire health and safety, food safety, policies and procedures. So this obviously would have been a little office where they would have stored all the paperwork in relation to selling food here, soft drinks, all the rules and regulations, fire emergency evacuation plans, this would have been kind of like a little, it's like a hygiene training thing on the wall up there. So this clearly would have been used to store all the paperwork and all the documentation and all the folders, like a little office. So there's a couple of bits there. If I just lift this, you can see that? Just like little policies and procedures. Okay, let's come back through this room then. Okay, let's go through. We won't go upstairs just yet, we'll come through this way. We've got another little room through here. There's nothing in here apart from couple of electrical boxes and bits and pieces. So this is obviously like a small electrical room or something. It's literally just, if I just pan it up you can see, just a small room. So that's basically what it is. I don't know what this room would have been used for. It could have been used for anything. It could have been a storage room, it could have been for anything. For cleaning stuff, it could have been, I think we've got like an electrical box on the wall there, so it could have been for anything, really. It's quite a high room actually, if I just pan up, see? Quite high room. So it could have been used for that. I can see people saying hi, hello, thank you for joining me, thank you. So yeah, just a really small room. Hopefully you're finding this interesting as well, by the way. So let's come down now. Let's go through this way, because this way is fascinating. Right, so we've covered like one of the front office areas. It looked, there was like a chair in the corner and stuff, so that clearly would have been used for staff, or maybe a staff room or something. Maybe there we've had like a little cupboard area. You know, a little room where they would have kept paperwork and stuff like that. So so far we've just seen a couple of little rooms and stuff. So we've come up 2 flights of steps. So we'll go up the other steps in a minute. This, believe it or not, can you see on the floor? If I just pan the camera down, can you see all those things on the floor? You see them? Things. They look like. Yeah. Can you see them? There's just loads of them all over the floor. To me, they look like one of two things. They either look like the plastic lids that would have gone on Coke drinks, like soft drinks, or would they have been used for... I think that's probably what they would have been used for. Originally, I thought they may have had something to do with films. So they may have been the plastic caps that would have gone over the front of something. I'm not talking about lenses, but I'm talking about something to do with films. But I don't think they look, I don't think they am. I think they're more soft drink cups, but they're very small lids, but they could well be. I'll just give you another look. You can see what I mean. You see? So they look like Coke soft drink lids, but then there's no hole for the straw to go through the middle. So I don't know, so I could be wrong. So they might have something to do with, I don't know anything about films, but could they be film caps? Could they be something to do with films? Either reels of films or something to do with the films. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. I could be wrong. However, there's no, you know, you get like a little perforated cross in the top for the straw to go through. There's nothing like that. But then if these are from the well, they wouldn't have been that old, I don't think, so I don't know. Okay, so I'm thinking either soft drink cup lids or something to do with films. That's the only thing I can think of. Anyway, let's walk through. You can probably hear them under my feet. So we've got, I don't really want to tell. Can you see that on the floor? There. An old torch. You see that old torch on the floor? It's an old torch there. And then if you come through to this room here, you've got what's left of a little room full of bits and bobs. Now I'm trying to hold the camera still and I'm actually looking over the top of you, so I'm just looking to see. Can you see there's a chair? We've got the table, a little unit, and there's loads of those caps in here. Now in here we've got old fluorescent light tubes. There's a chair, there's bits of equipment, there's old electrical bits of equipment, there's like bits of circuitry board, and at the back there, at the very back, we've got a vice, we've got methylated, well not methylated spirits, but we've got a jar of like nuts and bolts. There's one there, look, if you can see on the table, a little jar of screws and stuff. So that would have been, so can you see what I mean about boxes of stuff on the front of the table? You see them? Down there, little boxes of stuff. And then we've got lots of little bits and pieces, so I'll just give you a quick look so you can see all the little, so like painting, polyfiller, so all the old bits and pieces left behind. So that's what this room is. So this would have been like a small kind of maintenance room or something. Spare parts and all the other bits and pieces would have been in here. But that box is really old. In fact, it's so rusty, it's actually flaking away, look. Literally flaking away. It's like a little tin, an old tin. Look, so you've got an old, you can see that old chair in there. So that's what I think this room would have been, some kind of maintenance room, somewhere where they'd kept spare parts, light fittings, light fixtures and stuff. Okay, so that would have been this room. Let's go and check some more out. Okay, bear with me because I'm turn that way because the light in my eyes. Ooh. Ooh. Now, believe it or not, we are now in the projection room, the old projection room. The reason why I know that is because the floor is sloped, and also at the far end, if I just pan the camera around, you can see them holes there? That would have been, I'm guessing, and it would have made sense if this was the front of the cinema looking towards the back, this would have been where the projector would have been, so there could have been two. So I'm thinking the film goes there, and the light for that is there, and there's two, because you usually have two side by side, don't you, and you have holes in the wall, so that the film lens sits in one hole, and sometimes the spotlight, the projection light, shines through the other one. So I'm assuming this is the projection room. And if I just pan the camera down, I don't know if you can see you can't really see the floor. It's like brickwork. So let's have a look. So there's lots of stuff on the floor. Can you see? If I just show you, you might just be able to see. Lots of stuff on there. You can't really see much, but can you see on the floor back there? So you've got what's left of an old cabinet. Some cabinets here, look. Again, you've got these plastic things on the top. So you can see the tables there. And then you've got all this stuff on the floor. So you've got an old, old seat cover. And there's just like stuff, debris on the floor. So let's go down here. Just walking across stuff. So yeah, I'm thinking this bit. See, look, you've got, see what I mean, like that. That would have lifted up like that. So I'm thinking this is projection room, and you would have looked out there, and then if I show this one. Can you see? So you would have looked out into the cinema. So I'm thinking that's what this would have been, the projection room. And you can just see by the state, if I just pan it around, you can see, if I shine it up. Above me. Hello. It's quite a big room, but I'm guessing that's what that would have been. Our projection room. Which is quite fascinating, really, to think this would have been projection room. Let's just come back onto the solid ground. There we go. So let's go back this way. Sorry, I know you're not really looking at much, but I'm just trying to get my bearings. Let's stand over here. That's better. So yeah, so that's what I'm thinking this would have been, and it's just fascinating to think that this cinema hasn't seen a film since 1980. So for 35, 36 years, a film hasn't been played here, and to think that I'm standing in a room that dates back to 1925, so almost 100 years ago. Films originally, the old reels of film would have been played and stored in this very room. And to think what those films would have been, what kind of films would have been played in the 1920s. What old films would have been played. And it is fascinating. It's just unbelievable to think what would have happened in this room. The films that would have been played, the noise of the projector, the old projector. I know my granddad used to have an old projector, but one from 1925. How it sounded, how big it would have been. Just amazing to think somebody would have been sat in this room playing a film. Absolutely amazing. Now there is a doorway through there, but we're not going to go through that way because there's nothing much through there apart from a little cupboard and another room which is just filled with old, believe it or not, Gala Bingo stools. They've fallen over, and lots of pots of paint and fabrication stuff. I don't mean like roofing and carpeting, but just all pots and tins of stuff. But there's nothing really apart from that in there, so we're not going to go through that way. So let's go back through. Let's try and go up to the second level. And then we'll go all the way back down, and we'll go down to reception, and then we'll go towards the back. Then we'll finish. Okay, so just bear with me a sec while I get my bearings, because I've got to be careful. But you can see. Ooh. That's it. Okay. And there's a really... Sometimes when I go into locations, there's smells. Now, believe it or not, you wouldn't think this. Now, most of the locations that I've ever been to, there is no smell. None. Nothing. It doesn't smell of anything. The only two places that I've ever smelt of anything is Samuel College, when we went right down into the basement where the big boiler was, and it smelt really musty and stony and old and that kind of dank smell. And in here, it's the only room out of the whole building that smells of anything. Now it's possible it's because it's actually really cold, and it's a cold day anyway, but it might be because the paint's coming away, it's the smell of the stonework and that kind of thing. The only other smell that's similar to that is in this room and nowhere else. But you wouldn't think abandoned and derelict places wouldn't smell of anything. You'd always think they'd smell yucky of some kind. They actually don't. But this room, there is a smell, typical smell. And when you smell it, when you can smell it, it just reminds me of old, dated. And it kind of, in a way, it kind of takes me back. And you know what? I don't mean to waffle on, but sometimes when it depends on how you pick up on things. Sometimes when I go to these places, I can sometimes sense or pick up. It's not a case of I can physically feel something happening to me. Sometimes you can find that you can almost tune in. You can almost pick up on how it felt or would have been like. And I find that in this room. This room there's no other room like it, just this one room. I can pick up on that essence of the 1920s, 1930s. I can almost pick up on it, I can feel it. But in a nice way. It's not weird. Nothing weird's happening. It's just I find this room, I can pick up on that vibe of the 1920s, 1930s. It's a nice feeling. It's not weird or strange. It's a nice feeling. It's just a feeling of oldness. Almost like the fabric. You pick up on that. Hard to explain, but maybe you don't know what I'm on about. But sometimes I find when you go to places you can sometimes pick up on that. Very, very fascinating. Of all the rooms, this would be my most fascinating room, projector room. Okay, anyway, let's look at some more. Let's not waffle anymore. Okay, so we're now coming back the way we came. So we're now going to go up a flight of steps. Oh, excuse me, I've got a runny nose, sorry, so it's a bit lighter here. So we're now going to come up. I'm now going to turn this flashlight off, because we don't need it. Okay. So we are now upstairs on the upper balcony. It's overlooking, and we'll have a look in a minute. But we've got to be really careful because it's precariously, not balancing, it's just overlooking. We have to be so careful because it's actually subject to the open air, so it looks weird. There's steps, but there's like grass and stuff, shrubs and things growing. But you'll be able to see in a minute anyway. This is the games room. Okay, so we've got what's left of a pool table on its side. is the old games room. If you go through that door in the corner, all it leads to is another room. Now I believe that's probably where they would have kept all the game stuff. It may or may not have been locked, I don't know, but there's only some empty shelves in there, some shelving units on the wall. So it would have been used for things like game equipment and where to keep the balls and that kind of stuff in there. There's nothing in there apart from just an empty little room, and that's it. But this is the games room. But yeah, this is what's left of a snooker pool table. I'll just show you. See, it's on its side. So you can see this was left of it, and that's really all there is to show. So this would have been the door. I'm now back in the games room. So yeah, you can just see it's there on its side, and then that's covered. It's just a pokey. Oop! It's me doing something, falling on something. Let's put this flashlight back on so you can see. It's just poking little. You can't really see. Poke a little cupboard. With the hang on, tell me what. Let me come in. Do you remember this? That? Like Gala Bingo Halls and social clubs and stuff like that, they had that old plastic grilling that come down. I remember them. Oh, it smells really old in here, like old books. Yeah, it does. It smells really like not mouldy, just feisty, but you can't really see. It's just an empty room. That's where they would have kept all the games equipment. But yeah, I didn't recognise that before, but that's what that is. The old plastic covering. So that's that room. It's just like a little storeroom for the game stuff. So let's come back out and I'll turn the torch back off, because we're not going to need it. So let's just get my bearings. There we go, turn it back off. Okay, so let's go through the door. Okay, we'll come back this way. So we're now, like I said, this is the recreation area of things up here. There's nothing up here apart from that games room. There's no toilets or anything. They're all downstairs, and I'll have a look at that after, so don't worry, there's still quite a bit more to see. But that's the games room. And then, okay, have a look here. Have a look there, look. See that? So that is what's left of the upper balcony. Now earlier on I actually walked over there, and you can go down the steps. There's like steps that go down. And that's what's left, the cinema. So you can just see how badly demolished and ruined it is. But obviously this would have all been enclosed, but that's the balcony. If I lift it up, see it? So that would have been the balcony. So it gives you an idea of what you can see. So let's come back this way. And what we do, just give another look so you can see it. Fascinating. But yeah, literally goes, you can go down the steps, you can stand above the projecting room that would have overlooked the whole cinema. Anyway, so let's come back down this way. Let's come back down the steps. So let's come back down here. And that's really all there is up there, really. I'll have to put the torch back on, haven't I? So you can see me. There we go. So that's really all that's up there. So you've got the games room, and then, like I said, you've got these like they look like concrete steps or something, and you can stand. And don't worry, I've taken, even though we didn't actually go out there, don't worry. The reason why I didn't go out there too much is because it is quite dangerous. But I did stand above the projection room and take a photograph of the view from there overlooking the cinema, so don't worry too much. But I did take some pictures. So let's come back down this way. So we're now coming back down the steps. Just get my bearings. Just trying to squint my eyes so I can see. Okay, so now coming back down the steps. That's it. Okay. There's pigeons. Okay, so we're now this way. So let's now go through this way. Just trying to get my bearings. You can probably hear the pigeons. Okay, so we're now going through the main doors. Here. We've got doors at the end, and this is now back where we started. Looking that way. Okay, so now let's go back down to the reception area. Okay, so if we come through this way, we've just got an empty room. You can't even see anything. There's nothing in here apart from just debris. It's just an empty room. Let's go down to reception. So that would have been the steps going back up. So where we were up at the games room, there's 2 flights of steps that come down either side. So that just goes back up to the games room and to the balcony. So let's come down here. This is the reception area. So I'm now just walking down a small flight of steps. That's it. And the first place I want to show you is just through here. Okay. So we're now in the electrical room. So this is the nerve centre of all the electricity for the building. All the panels, all the switches and stuff are in here. And I'll give you a look now so you can see what I'm talking about. So if I just, so can you see? I'll just show you. So you can just see all the different panels. See that? So all the electrical panels. So you've got some paperwork. This is obviously the burglar alarm system. You've got all panels in here. So I'm just giving you a good look about so you can just see what I mean. Just got up there, look. All across the wall. Going down now. This is all the old fuse boxes. Okay. You can now see what I mean. You got that. So that is where we am in the main kind of electrical room. Okay, so that's what this room is. So hopefully you had a good look around there because it's really dark in here. And even we've got that little light on, it's still really dark. So that's why I was holding it up against things. So hopefully you could see something. Okay, so I'm sorry if it was kind of not quite in view or a bit kind of skew with. But that's where, but it's pitch black in here. I can't see anything apart from the light coming from the little light thing that I've got. But hopefully you saw something. So let's go and have a look at the reception area. So let's just spin the camera back. That's it. Step out of here. Okay. So we're now standing in the main reception area. So this would have been the main entrance in to the cinema and the Gala Bingo. And I'm going to have, because it's so dark, I'm going to have to hold it up to the counter so you can see it. So bear with me, alright? I'm just going to give you a little look. As you can see. Getting snagged on stuff. You can't really see it. where that would have been. The main area. Okay, so hopefully you saw something. I'm sorry if you didn't, but that's the main reception desk where people would have come in and then you would have gone up this flight of steps. So let's go back up because it is quite dark. I'm just going to move. There we go, that's better. So we've now come up the steps. So there's only one flight of steps. So as you come in the main door, you would have gone up to reception, got your tickets or whatever you need to come up this one flight of steps. And then you would have either have gone up stairs to the games room, or you would have come back through to where we're going to go. So this is now going back through. I think I've shown you everywhere. Yep. So you would have come through here, through the main doors, into the main area. So let's turn that on, save some battery power. There we go. So you would have come here. So you had, you've got a little room there. You've got a toilet, like a little toilet wash area to the left. To the right is where you go through them doors, and you go upstairs, and that kind of thing. So that's through there. So we're now going to go back through into the main kind of area. So you would have come down here, accumulated here. There's actually, look, if I just show you what's here, look, just seen this. So that to me looks like an old, you can't really see it, it's like an old game on its side, like an old gambling game or something on its side. So this would have been where games would have been, and amusements, that kind of thing. So let's go towards the back, because I'm just conscious of time, and I'm sure this broadcast has probably gone on for quite a long time, and we just want to cover the back bit now. So that's all the front. So you've seen pretty much all of the front of the cinema. Okay. And there's nothing really. Let's just come back up here a minute. Sorry, just bear with me, I'm just going up these steps. I think this is going back pretty much. Let's just go through here. Oh yeah, so you've got some toilets. Oops. So you've got toilets here. Clearly male toilets. Okay, so you've got them. This should have been the toilets. Okay, let's go towards the back. Okay, oops. Stuff on the floor. Okay, so we've got to be careful because these steps, can you see? Steps. I don't think you can see it. Some of the steps are missing. So I've got to be really careful here. So just bear with me while I just step down. There's a big gap there. That's it. Okay. So we're now back where we started. We've got the bingo tables and chairs. Okay. So let's go to the rear of the cinema. Oh. So you could have come down here. There's 2 flights of steps on either side, so that's what's left. See how the steps are missing? You've got 1 flight of steps there. And in the far corner, see how it's all falling down? The fire has damaged another flight of steps just there. Okay. There would have been Gala Bingo tables along here. You can see them next to me, look, can you see? And you've got the electrical bits where there would have been, and this is where the boards would have sat and stuff, and you've got your tables. So this is what's left of the bingo tables. Now look at this. This is probably the fascinating bit. Can you see the architecture? Just look up there. There. See it? Just there? The architecture. But you can see how overgrown it is. So I lift you up and get a good look around. See everything. Okay, and that, believe it or not, up there, see that? That's now looking up to the balcony. So remember when I said you can come out and stand and overlook? That's where you come out. Let me just see if I can point to it. That gap there. So the projector room is up there, and then you can go up there. Actually, no, sorry. The projector room is there. That white bit going across there. Oop. Get my bearings. There, that's the projector room. That bit. There. So that's where the small windows were that we were looking through. And then you can go up above that, onto that piece up there, look. There. And overlook the cinema. Okay. So let's have a look. So we're gonna have to climb, in case you're gonna have to bear with me. But you can just see how overgrown this place is. But if you look, can you just, very quickly, can you see what's left of the balcony? That would have overlooked it. And what a poor state it's in. Okay. So we're going to have to, see what I mean? We're going to have to climb. Just bear with me. I'll hold on to you. That's it. I'll go this way. Okay, so we're just going to have to walk across the back of these. There we go. And then over the top of this one. Oh. Okay. There we go. Now then. How's that for an artefact? English elegance clock. Yep. Anyway, let's go back towards the back and then we'll finish. So we're now at the rear of the cinema. So now there is. So if I spin around, you can just see what's behind me. See it? But can you see what I mean about architecture up there? This is now at the back. So this would have been where the stage would have been. There would have been a huge stage here in that gap there. Big stage. And behind there, there's not much to see. Behind there and to the side, we'll have a little look. It's mainly where the toilets are. So there's I think there's one or two sets of toilets and things, but this is now the back of the cinema. So the film would have been shown on a massive screen in this area here, and the stage would have been here. Look, see it? Come up. Stage area. That would have been where the big bingo gala electronic board would have sat on that stage. There would have been a pulpit, or you know, they have like a little desk where they call out the names and stuff, so people would have been facing towards this area. But believe it or not, all the chairs and what's left is under all that. You can see what we had to climb over to get here. And next to me we've got this here, this little kind of wooden stall bit here on the side, and then you've got like a little flip table there. Now I know when I've been to Bingo Gala, sometimes when you come to the front, this is where you can buy your booklets of tickets and stuff. Sometimes it can be, but I don't know what else would have been here. It's quite a small little desk, so there could have been, I don't know, it could have been for selling the tickets and stuff, or extra tickets or something here. Anyway, God, there's loads of pigeons, man, it's everywhere. I'm just making sure I don't get pooed on. So let's walk through a little. That's it. Okay, so let's come through this way. Okay, so you've got a little flight of steps that go through that doorway, and those steps don't really go anywhere. In fact, the steps have broken, and as you go down there, it just goes to a little generator thing, and then there's a little flooded corridor, which that's just underneath, but it doesn't go anywhere. There's no hidden tunnels or anything, so it would have just been that. Then we've got this little room here. Tiny, tiny little box room. Just a tiny, tiny little room. There's a couple of electrical boards you can see, look. There's a couple of electrical boards and things, but this could have been another kind of electrical room, maybe. There's a couple of shelves on the wall. It's just a small room, really. That's about it in there. Okay, let's walk back through this door. Let's go through to the other side. Now, we're nearly finished. Now, when you stand here, in all the places I've been, this is the first place that I've ever stood that I actually feel like I'm in a theatre or a cinema or something. It gives you, as you stand here, you can almost pick up that feeling of standing in a grand theatre, in a grand cinema. And you look up and you've got these amazing Corinthian style kind of shape, like architecture on the roof. And I don't want to say too much because I want you to look at the original photographs of of the roof, how it would have been decorated. It is quite impressive, quite impressive. If you can picture in your mind a very elegant Gala Bingo Theatre cinema, it's like that. But you really do get a scale, and I can almost feel that sense of awe as you came in here. Not only the size, but just the sense of awe. A real sense of awe, sense of scale. I can tell I'm standing where I am, I can tell. Not just by looking, I can feel it. A real sense of, wow, I'm right at the front, as it were, on the, almost at the stage area of this cinema. But you can see the state of what's behind me. So they're the steps. Remember I said about the steps that go down? So they just go down to basically nothing. So this would have been the stage area at the back there. There's nothing really at the back there apart from just, well, there's just nothing. But you can see how the floor's all collapsed. And can you see how it's all speckled in white from the pigeons? All that. So let's go across this front bit. So I'm walking right past the stage. And if you look behind me, that's all that's left. You can just make out what's above. You can see the pigeons. That's obviously looking back towards the front. But yeah, this is on the side. It's huge. You can tell just by looking behind me the scale. It's an amazing. I actually want to stand here for quite a long time, believe it or not, but I'm not going to because obviously this broadcast is going to go on way too long. But you really do get a scale of wow. You really do. And when you look up and you see that decor. Anyway, I'm going to go because otherwise we'll be here for ages. Okay, so we've now passed the stage area. And we've now got... let's go through this door. So you could have walked down the side of both. See here? You probably could have walked down both sides. And that's what's left of the bingo table and chairs there. Like it's just been crushed and everything. It's just fallen. You can tell just by looking up. Okay, let's go in here. There's nothing really to see. Much. But I'm going to put the torch on so you can have a look. Can you see? I'll come in. I don't know if you can see. You can't really see anything. This is a huge toilet. I don't mean one big toilet. But there's all cubicles. So these are all the cubicles. This would have been the ladies' toilets. So you've got all cubicles and then you've got the sinks. I don't know if you can see them. You can just see them shining in the light. Porcelain sinks. This is the ladies' toilets, the back here. She's got about 8 cubicles. It's quite dark. I'm not going to go in there because I can see there's toilets laying on the floor, there's doors lying down. It's just completely ruined. But if I show you, it's just the toilets. That's all that's in there. It's just the ladies' toilets. Okay. wonder what that was. Oh. See it? A bit of circuitry trying to grab hold of me. Okay, let's come down here. So we've come back out. And then let's go through this door here. And then we're gonna finish then, because there's nothing else to show you. So you come up here, and this is just a tiny, I think there's another toilet. Oh yeah. So, I know it's not the most pleasant thing to look at. The men's toilets. So that's all that's in here really, is the men's toilets. Oh, it's quite. It's got sinks. Oh, let me show you. That's the left of the sinks. And you see that? But look at you see the tiles? See them? All the original tiles are still here. From the 1920s. All of them, look. These beautiful 1920 tiles. All still here. It's not renovated, it's the original tiles from the 1920s. All still here. All decorated. That side as well, look. See? So yeah, quite fascinating really to think those tiles are from the 1920s. And then you've got an old hand dryer here. Somehow I don't think that works. No. You can see the tiles down the walls. So that is basically everything. So that's basically everything. That's all I can show you. There's nothing else to see. So you've seen everything. So we've covered the main reception area. We've covered the main entrance where you would have come in and you would have had your soft drinks and played games. We've gone up to the games room. We've gone up towards the balcony. And if I just show you, in fact, can you see? Right up there, look. Just come here. See? You see it up there? So that would have been the main balcony up there. Yeah, it would have been the balcony area. And then the projector room is just underneath. But just give you one last look around just before we finish, so you can have a good look. I'm going to just pick you up a bit. There we go. So, as always, thank you so much for joining me, Influencers of Times, as I bring you into Britain's most abandoned and derelict places, to bring you into the heart of Britain's most secret of secrets, to show you firsthand places that are frozen in time, places that contain memories and stories embedded in the walls. It's been a fascinating episode, I have to say, and I'm so glad that I was able to come here and bring you today to the West Midlands to show you this fascinating 1920s cinema and 1980s Gala Bingo Hall. So thank you for joining me, thank you for tuning in and for watching, and for all your comments, and for all the people that are watching. I can see you. For all the people that are watching and for all the people that have tuned in, thank you so much for your patience, for your company and for your time. Join me again as Influencers of Times continues to go in search of Britain's most abandoned and derelict places. Now, hopefully sometime this week we will be visiting a pub. Now, we can't go into the pub because it's being completely cordoned off, but weather permitting, hopefully we'll be able to do a broadcast from a pub that's 500 years old just outside Birmingham. Now, if I don't do the broadcast for any reason, if the weather's poorly, if it's not very good, or if we just if it doesn't get done, it's either because weather's not permitted, or it's possible that maybe it may be that for other reasons I can't do the broadcast. But if I can do it this week, I will do it. If I don't worry, because I will include it in this episode. It might just be a very, very quick, short, brief episode, because like I said, we can't go inside. We can only broadcast from outside it, and it's just a square pub. It's just kind of like a rectangular shape, and it's behind kind of bars and stuff, so we might not be able to see a lot, but I thought it would make an interesting episode. So stay tuned. So if I don't do it this week, don't worry. It will be in the Influence of the Time series. It may be that I might wait for a nice sunny day, a nice day, because it's in a beautiful park just outside Birmingham, so I might wait until it's a nice day. So join me for that, and join me for more fascinating episodes in this incredible series that we're going to be doing. And I've mentioned this many times already. This series is going to go on for a long time. We're going to go all over the United Kingdom. We're going to go right up into Scotland, and we're going to go down into Wales. We're going to go down to Kent. Wherever there's abandoned or derelict locations, we will be going, and hopefully I will be able to do a live broadcast to you and show you all these places frozen in time, in all their entirety, and to uncover the stories that go along with them. So from me and this fascinating, wonderful location, thank you for joining me. So from me and from Kingsway Cinema in Birmingham, because I did say that I'd mention the name. So this is Kingsway Cinema, just outside Birmingham. The fascinating 1920s Kingsway Cinema. So from me and this incredible place, thank you for joining me. Until the next time, enjoy the rest of your day. God bless. Take care. And yeah, I'm going to leave you with one last look before we finish. So until the next time, take care.